Hello my church family and friends. I am so excited you joined me again today. If you have been looking at your calendar, which I have not, you will find out that today is technically the third Wednesday. And so last week I was thinking, or the last video I was thinking it was the first Wednesday, and it was technically the second Wednesday, so I came to you a little extra, but I am going to go ahead and come to you today, and maybe next week and possibly the fifth week. I don't know, we'll have to see how our online schooling is going. We're trying to get back into the swing of things because we were on spring break last week, so we're trying to get back into the swing of things and get our schedule going, so bear with me. I'm trying to figure all this out, and I appreciate everybody hanging with me and working with me, and I totally appreciate everybody and their patience, and you know, and with all this craziness that's going on in the world right now, and our communities, and our, not just the world, but the United States, and even down to our little teeny tiny communities, you know, in comparison to the world, and you know, it's just hitting everybody, and I'm sure all the adults are doing a lot of praying lately, and sometimes kiddos just don't know how to pray. And so today we're going to talk about a special way to pray, and we're going to do a little craft to help you remember how to pray. So without much more, I'm going to take over. Okay, so for this craft, we're going to kind of learn about how to pray. And with that, we're going to use our hands, and we're going to make a list based off of our hands. So for this craft, we're going to do our handprint onto the paper to help us remind us how to pray and what to pray for. So for this craft, we're going to need paint and a paintbrush. I did a foam brush. Some markers or a pen, just anything that you can use to write down what you're praying for. And if you don't have paint, don't worry about it. It's no big deal. Just trace your hand with markers, colored pencils, crayons, pencil, whatever you have, and you can design your hand however you want to. So if you've got all kinds of different paints and want to paint each finger a different color, that's totally fine. If you want to paint just one color, I'm just going to be doing one color today. You can do different colored markers, you can do different colored crayons. Send us those pictures because we want to see how creative you can get. So let's go ahead and get started. First of all, we're going to take this paint, and I'm just going to pour it into my hand so that it doesn't create a whole big mess, because I don't have an opportunity to clean up as I go. You at home may have that opportunity, so if you want to pour it onto a paper plate or into a throwaway cup or a paint tray if you've got them, that might be the easiest for the kiddos. I'm just going to pour it straight into my hands. If you're able to supervise and can pour it into their hands, I totally recommend that, easiest cleanup. But the wipes are also for wiping your hands down afterwards. For me, like I said, I don't have an opportunity to go clean my hands right away, but the wipes at least help me do that. If wipes are limited for you, please don't feel like you have to use them. Good old-fashioned soap and water will take the paint right off as well. Paper towels and water if you've got them, whatever you've got on hand. Make sure that you don't go out and feel like you have to rush out and go get these supplies, because we want everybody to stay home and stay healthy. I'm using brush markers. You can use any kind of markers you have. This is what I have in my craft room. So let's go ahead and get started. So first we're going to take this paint and we're going to pour it onto our hand, just like this. Ooh, it's cold. I'm going to take the paintbrush and I'm just going to spread it over my hand just like this. Alright, make sure we get every finger covered and your palm covered, thumb covered. Make sure it's nice and even. You got a good amount of paint so that your handprint comes off onto your paper, which I'm not sure if I said paper or not, but you're definitely going to need a piece of paper because you don't want to be sticking any handprints on any walls or anything like that. Paper only, kiddos. Oh, try not to make a mess. And then you're going to take your hands and spread them as far apart from the page as possible, and you're going to want to turn it sideways so that way you can kind of, it doesn't matter, I guess, however you want to do it, however you feel like you have the most room, because you're going to be writing over each of your fingertips of what you're going to be praying for. So just make sure your fingers are nice and spread. I have bigger handwriting, so I need more room towards the top. If you've got smaller handwriting and want to turn it sideways, you are more than welcome to do that. make sure all little sections are pushed down. All right, and then you're gonna lift up. Ooh, my paint dried a little bit, so I stuck to the paper. So I'm gonna clean off my hand real quick. Bear with me as I clean off as fast as I can. But so in this project, each finger is going to represent somebody or something that we're going to be praying for. And in all of this craziness that's happening in our world, I figured this was the best little lesson that we could be using to help our little ones and our big ones who may not know exactly what to be praying for, or they hear these big words on the TV. I know my kids have been listening to me as I listen to our governor speak about different things that's going on in our state, and I just know that they're hearing things on there, and it's scary. It's not something that they normally hear. So to hear, deaths and number of people that are sick, it gives them big feelings that they're not 100% sure on how to process those. So this is such a great way to bring their minds to God and bring their focus and attention to Him, because He is going to be the only one that is going to be able to take care of this. So now that I've got my hands all cleaned, sorry about that, we're going to take a marker, and you can use different markers, you can do different colors, you can do the same color. I'm going to stick with one marker and one color, and I'm going to give a dark blue. And so for the first, can you see my picture? I'm going to zoom in a little bit so that you can see what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to raise that up just a little bit, and I'm going to zoom in just a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. Maybe there, can you see it a little bit better? Okay, there we go. I'm gonna move my wipes out of the way and move my paper up just a little bit so that you can see. All right, so for the first thing we're gonna do, we're gonna start with our thumb, because it's the closest to us, closest to our hearts, and we're gonna pray for those who are the closest to us. So we're gonna pray for our friends and our family and those who are closest to us. So on this first one, you're gonna write family and friends. Okay, so on our first pointer finger, our pointer finger gives us direction, and shows us where to go. So for that, we're going to pray for those who give us direction, like our teachers, our coaches, police officers and firemen and women, and our doctors. They're all people who give us direction, and they are people right now that absolutely need our prayers. So we're going to put down for our pointer finger those who give us direction. So like our teachers, coaches, doctors, police, and firemen and women. And then for our middle finger, and I'm sorry, I gotta turn it because I can't write. So for our middle finger, it is our tallest finger, and we are gonna pray for those who are in leadership. So I'm gonna write out here, direction. And then, okay, so on here I put closest to us and those who give us direction. So for this one, it's our tallest, like I was saying. Sorry, I'm backtracking. Now I'm back up. It's our leaders, those who are in charge and of our government, of our businesses, and most importantly of our churches. Pastor Scott has had to deal with a lot of firsts these last couple months, and first for Bible studies online and our worship services online, and it's just been a weird time. So to pray for them just gives them comfort, and knowing that they've been prayed for. Our President of the United States, President Trump, who's been diligently working at trying to keep our entire nation safe. and it trickles all the way down from our governors of our states down to our mayors of our cities who have had to make decisions about whether businesses are to stay open or not. And so everybody in our leadership positions need prayed for. So we're going to write here, leaders, and we're going to put like Pastor Scott. And you can put down the president if you would like, or governor, those who are in charge. Now for our ring finger, it is our weakest finger on our hand, and we pray for those who are the sickest, the poor. So just the people who need it the most. So are sick, poor, and that really hits home for us right now, because a lot of people are home because of the way that the pandemic is working out. They want everybody who doesn't need to be at work to be home with their loved ones, keeping their loved ones safe. So a lot of people are home, and unfortunately that takes a hit with the money issue, and so a lot of people are anxious about money, and God doesn't want that, because everything is, been planned and taken care of, and this is all part of his plan, and he's going to see us through it, and he's going to walk through it with us. And so now we can pray for the people who are sick right now and who have contracted the coronavirus, and the people who have been hit the hardest with no jobs and no money coming in, and just to be able to pray for them and to help them know that God is in control. And then this littlest finger, our pinky finger, it is for you and your needs and what you need to pray for, because God wants to know what's on your heart. He wants to know how you're doing. So if you pray for you or yourself and your needs, then God can take care of you too, and you're just as important as everything else on this list. So there is just an quick, easy way to remind you how to pray and who to pray for. Again, if you don't have markers, don't worry about it. Take a pen and pencil and trace your hand on a piece of paper and just write these down, just to remind you of who to pray for and what to pray for. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button if you're watching on YouTube, or if you're on Facebook, hit that like button. Make sure you share these videos with your friends and family. They'll enjoy it, I'm sure, too. If you are counting the weeks like I am now, this is technically the 3rd Wednesday, so technically I'm done for the month, but because there's 5 weeks, I'm going to try to come back to you one more week, if not both weeks. So then we'll have 4 videos for the entire month of April. But we are back in school, so not sure again what the game plan is, so bear with us. I appreciate everybody being patient with me and hanging on, and I hope to see you guys soon. Everybody stay healthy and stay home.